sometimes, and for some reason he likes to reach out for me whenever I'm around. When he wants to go there, he will reach out for me to try to take me to the abyss with him. And I'm not with it, man. I'm not with it. He started kicking me, and he was mad, man, which was right up my alley.
I'm one of the baddest of all time. One of the best singers, one of the best looking you've ever seen. Hold my drink, bitch.
You walk up to any chick and look at the whole side of their face, man.
I'm Rick James, bitch. Enjoy yourself.
We got closer, started hanging out. My brother didn't do any of this. So at night, when Eddie would break out, we would all be getting crazy and wild. If I was hanging with Rick, he had this thing with me where he used to always with me, man. I don't know what started it.
He was hanging out with the big dogs, Charlie didn't know he was doing crazy things, and I had to straighten him out. Sometimes I had to go upside his head.
Things escalated to the point where, my man got too familiar, and I ended up having to whip his ass, man, because, he would step across the line. Habitually, he's a habitual line stepper. First time, I had to end up whipping his ass. We went to Studio 54. We walking up into the VIP section, and I'm looking around and see who's there, and looking at the girls and everything. And all of a sudden, I heard something go, Charlie Murphy! That was cold-blooded. He had this ring on to commemorate this song he had put out called Unity.
And this was imprinted in that black head of his for at least a week. Unity.
Eddie and everybody else thought that was the funniest. And so that threw me in a weird space because I'm like, yeah, this is Rick James. He's a star.
I'm Rick James, bitch. It's a celebration, bitch.
Maybe I'm overreacting. I actually went there maybe I shouldn't do nothing. But my ghetto side was going, yo, stomp this out right here. What's wrong with him?
I'm just in wine and I'm just getting started, bitches.
He totally just wrote me off. I'm that still on. You know what I'm saying?
What, you gonna smack me back? I'm Rick James. He's Charlie Murphy.
I waited because I knew what hotel he was staying in. Eddie and them went home, and I said, y'all be right back. I shot over to the hotel, went up to his room, knocked on the door.
So then he comes in there, and I said, look, bitch, I'm Rick James. Oh, Charlie Murphy!
He had his hand cocked to throw another right hand. When he's coming for his camp, bah! Caught him with the front.
He Charlie like he gave me some kind of Bruce Lee cross kick or something.
I kicked the out of him.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs.
Yo. Sorry we're a little late tonight. I was trying to test out the new equipment, but just like always, I heard a little click and the microphone wasn't working and I couldn't get a lot of things together. But we are in time for 8 o'clock instead of 7:30. So sorry for the delay. Want to start off the show by, unless you're living under a rock, everybody knows that Charlie Murphy passed away yesterday at the age of 57. A lot of young folks dying. I'm just about to turn 52 myself on Easter Sunday. And apparently he had been battling leukemia and passed away. He had just did a tweet an hour before passing away, and that's how quick it can happen, people. You're not promised the next second or the next hour. So we all have to give thanks for every breath that we take. So I'm sure the Murphy family will put out the arrangements. There'll probably be private arrangements saying whose brother he was. Real funny guy. I was playing some of his Rick James clips at the beginning of the show for those that might have tuned in a little early. Also was working on the phone system, and I did test it earlier today, and like I say, everything was working until right when I was about to start the show. And so that's why we continue to test until we can get it right. But tonight's show is about those things that we need to purge from our neighborhoods. I'm kind of looking up now. I was just listening to what was going on in my house with the dog. But we're talking about the things in black society. There's a report out, and it's called the Moynihan Report. Came out in 1965, and it was basically a document talking about Black America and the things we face in Black America at this time. And we're talking 1965, which is the same year I was born. You guys excuse me here for a second. I'm trying to bring something up, and it's not letting me. So none of this stuff is working tonight. Technical difficulties all around. Maybe I can try something else, because I really want to share this with you all if possible. Okay, so we got that on the screen. The Moynihan Report, it was the case for national action for the Negro family. And basically, like I always tell everybody, you know, they want to give you all this blah, 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 acting like the government is not fully aware of the nonsense that it puts out there when it does. And it's getting to the point of all the integrationists that want to act like they have to treat you good. They have to be fair. My white friend isn't like that. We just saw a case on the news, and I'm sure everybody has seen it, with the Asian man being drugged from the plane. Now, last show, I spoke about Mr. Chang, and he made the statement that you will not see us out there protesting and blah, 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 stuff that's not going to get us anywhere. We take action in courts and among ourselves to reinforce our beliefs. But Jesse was at the airport before. I have no idea why. Yeah, it was wrong what happened, but that's not our battle. But now the Asian man has brought in his Asian attorney and his Asian family, and now there's going to be a lawsuit, and because he has the backing of the Asian Chinese government, something else we don't have. We don't have a homeland that can stand up and make problems for the rest of the world if there's not a applicable resolution to this. That's why it's going to work for them, and United is going to write a check. Best believe. But what they were saying in this report, and this is from 1965, there are two reasons. Well, let's go back. In this new period, the expectation of the Negro American will go beyond civil rights. Being Americans, they will now expect that in the near future, equal opportunities for them as a group will produce roughly equal results as compared with other groups. This is not going to happen, nor will it happen for generations to come unless a new and special effort is made. Now, if you look at the top of this report, it says the United States is posing a new crisis in race relations. Basically, in this report, they are admitting that what we have done to the African American in this country was intentional, and now we see that there's going to be a problem. And what can we do to counteract this problem? And the fourth paragraph says there are two reasons. First, the racist virus in American bloodstream still afflicts us. Negroes will encounter serious personal prejudice for at least another generation. Second, 3 centuries of something unimaginable mistreatment have taken a full toll on the Negro people. The harsh fact is that as a group, at the present time, in terms of ability to win out in the competition of American life, they are not equal to most of the other groups which they will be competing. Individually, Negro Americans reach the highest peaks of achievement, but collectively, in spectrum of American ethics and religion and regional groups, where some get plenty and some get none, where some get 80% of their children to college and others pull them out of school at the 8th grade, Negroes are among the weakest. I get tired of everybody, and you can't blame everybody because you've been conditioned by this man to think a certain way, to believe in certain things. And the cognitive dissonance of this is it goes against your nature. You know internally what's happening in this country is wrong. You know it. Yet you continue to participate in it, and we continue to put our kids in it. This report was written in 1965. And they already knew it's going to take a generation or so to even begin to skim the surface of what it's going to take to correct this. The fundamental problem in which this is mostly clearly is the case is that of the family structure. They already realized that the black man was catching the biggest brunt of this. It was almost impossible for him to overcome what had been put out here. I've actually got a clip of the show, the actual 1965 show. Let me share that with you.
CBS reports Watts' riot or revolt continues.
Theirs, they say, is a different world about which white Americans have bothered to learn very little. Indeed, the first thorough study of Negroes and how they live in this country was completed only a few months ago. Our government, which conducts detailed surveys of everything from sugar beets in Colorado to social habits in Cambodia, had never before taken a close look at the 21 million Negroes of America. Daniel Moynihan, until this summer Assistant Secretary of Labor, was in charge of the study and was staggered by it. Moynihan says the Negro family structure is collapsing, and we asked him the reasons.
The first is, remember that American slavery was the worst slavery the world has ever known. We can't get that into our heads because the standard of living of the slaves was high, perhaps. We don't see how awful it was. We deprived them of the sacraments as Christians. We deprived them of any institutions as family life. We deprived them of any rights as human beings. There's a very long and complicated history, but we did. There's no other slavery like it in history. And there was no Negro family at all in the slave world. Secondly, segregation and the great humiliations of Jim Crow was a brutal assault on the personal integrity of the Negro male. I mean, he was the man who took the brunt of it. Thirdly, urbanization poured into the cities. Don't forget, the Negroes of our time, because they're Americans, we don't see them as immigrants. The Negroes in Watts were immigrants, just as much as the Italians or Irish or whatever who poured into the cities in the 19th century. And it wasn't a very pretty sight in New York in 1870 either, let me tell you. The families break up when they leave countrysides, rural peasant life, and sort of dump into slums. Fourthly, unemployment. We have had 35 years of disastrous unemployment. And for the Negro male, he has never gotten over the Depression. He had 4 fair to middling years in the Second World War and maybe a good year in the Korean War, and that's it. It's getting better just recently. But by and large, it's been going on beyond the imagining in the white world. I mean, rates of unemployment, teenage unemployment in the white world, in the Negro world today is almost 25%. Can you imagine that? That is a social crime. That's an outrage. There isn't a society in the world which will let 25% of teenagers go unemployed. About a quarter of Negro families are headed by women. The divorce rate is 2.5 times what it is. And all the number of fatherless children keeps growing. And all these things getting worse, not better, over recent years. It's not a matter of a bad situation that doesn't improve, but rather a bad situation that worsens. Got to get that clear. It's getting worse. How did you learn how to behave? From your father and your mother and your older sisters, maybe, and the people around you. Well, supposing there is no father, or if he is a father, he doesn't work, where there is no education, where there's no sense of getting ahead, where children are just brought up without any of that support which a family gives it, then what do you end up with? You end up a cycle reproducing itself.
Just wanted to share some of that. And I don't want to hear people telling me, oh, well, if you just work hard, if you just do this. We were socially engineered in this society. You heard the man say it had been 35 years before they even started looking at this. They didn't even start looking at this until the Civil Rights Bill was actually passed. And then they decided, shit, now we got to start treating you like you halfway human. If you're looking 35 years back from the time that this came out in 1965, that puts you in 1930, which puts you into the Depression era. And you heard the man say, the blacks really never recovered from the Depression. What little we had, and we all remember back then, was taken by the so-called whites that were suffering, and how dare any Negro have something. So when we say white racism, we're not talking about the individual. We're talking about a collective system that has systematically been in place in this country for years, and the healing will never start, at least it won't start for me, till I see some president stand up and say, what we did to the African American people was wrong, and we're going to make reparations. And to that day, I don't want to hear none of this. No, let's work together. Nope. Well, if you nope, we were wrong. Here's your reparation. 150 years of free education, land grants, investments for your community. Then you're not saying nothing to me. You're not saying nothing that matters. Now that's their side. The side we want to talk about tonight is what's our side. What are the things that are taking money out of our community? Things that can be controlled, but if we don't take them out of our community, we'll never get any control. It takes a certain amount of discipline to even get your mind around some of the stuff we're going to talk about. Lottery. I used to play lottery all the time, every day, at least $12, $15 a day for years. And I was working a little $7 an hour job, throwing all my money away on lottery. So, but I was spending close to $80 a week on lottery. That's $80 worth of groceries. That's $320 a month I'm throwing away. But we spend a lot of money on lottery. Sure, white folks do it too. After all, lottery is giving people something to dream about. But it's affecting us more because our communities are in worse condition. Pawn shops. They kind of go hand in hand with a lot of the thefts that go into communities. Even though there's supposed to be policies in place, we can't receive stolen goods. There's always a little workaround. And if you do pawn something that is yours, and then you got to pay that interest back, that's more money going. Too many liquor stores. You get up on Sunday, drive through the hood, then just drive 8 blocks. You're probably going to run to about 10 liquor stores within that 8 blocks. It looks bad. Hey, everybody likes to have a little drink here and there, but if you're getting up in the morning and going to stand outside the liquor store at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. in the morning, you're not about to have a productive day. There are a lot of neighborhoods like out in these suburbs where I live, you can't get liquor after a certain time. You can't get it before a certain time. And people should you're going to have to put some discipline in your own personal life to say, I've got too much stuff to do during the week, so I won't be having a drink during the week. Maybe I'll have a beer on the weekend. So it's individual things that you have to do so you can transfer these or try to transfer these things onto your family. But a lot of money is spent on liquor. We got the drug dealers in the neighborhood. Of course, they're taking a lot of money out because they're supplying an unneeded resource. So everybody that gets the checks that's on drugs is out here buying crack. That money goes to the dope dealer, and he goes and spends it frivolously on whatever. Money gone. We're talking about things that take money out of the neighborhood. Drug addicts. They may pay their rent, maybe, but then all the rest of the money is going to be gone. Payday loan joints. All throughout the neighborhoods. What they charging, 26 to 40% interest on a loan. And people are falling for this because they may be in some type of desperate situation. But you get one of these loans, now you're in a more desperate situation. And it's legal. And one of the biggest things that takes resources out of our neighborhood is correctional institutions, jail. You heard the man say, back in the day, unemployment was at 25% for blacks, and how detrimental that is. Fast forward 52 years later, it's still at around 25, 26%. And some places even high as 40%. So if it was detrimental 52 years ago, look at it now. It's almost like you're in a game, you can't win, but you can't get out. Ain't that what the song that Michael Jackson sung in The Wiz? You can't win. You can't get out the game. So what you gonna do? This is the dilemma we're faced with. A lot of other groups aren't faced with it because they already sat down collectively as a group and decided what they were gonna do. Oh, we're gonna go work for these people, get our money. We're gonna come back and build up over here with our people. Integration fucked us up. I'm sorry. The older I get, the more I look at the contributions of Martin Luther King and say, wow, it's beautiful what you did for us. But man, this may have very well been the downfall of us collectively. When you say, where are we going to be 100 years from now, 200 years from now? Are we even going to exist in the same mannerism? Man, it's going to be some individuals. But collectively, we don't collectively live together. We don't collectively do politics together. We don't collectively support one another. I said yesterday in that other show where Mr. Chain said, the black man is the only man who will fight to be under his oppressor. He will not show his brother real brotherly love, but he would do anything in his power to stay under this white man. And that's why we don't mess with him. That's why we keep our community. That's why we hire our Asian brothers, because that's real Asian love. It's not that we hate the black man. It's that we love the Asian man. It gets sad sometimes. You look at it. You look at the system that oppresses us. And I work in the system. Tons of people work in the system, but I'm talking about getting out the system. It's at that point in life where we behind the finish line. Do you understand what that is? You're starting from a behind spot, and everything they get you is designed to keep you behind. They okay with you as long as you ain't in the head. When you in the head, how many, and I've never seen it, but maybe I'm sure it exists. How many corporate execs are over, black corporate execs are over white people? I've been in corporate America for quite some time, and I have not seen any corporate execs, no matter how high they are, over white folks. It's weird. For us, it's like we come into a game of Monopoly that's been going on for an hour. So everybody's been playing for an hour, buying up all the property and everything. Then you get in the game. And you get your little money at the beginning of the game. But you losing from the very first roll of the dice. Because you don't own anything. And that's us in black America. Even with the black millionaires, we still only own 1%. So you're playing Monopoly. And you're rolling the dice. Oh. You landed here, Baltic. You landed on the utility. You landed on Virginia Avenue, Vermont, Pennsylvania, Boardwalk, Park Place. You done spent all your money, and you looking to pass go so you can collect another $200. Now everybody else in the game that's been playing for an hour, they collecting. Because they got all the land and most of the money from the land. They own the utilities. So you paying. You not collecting nothing. That's the situation we're in. That's the best way I can explain it. That's the situation we're in. And every day I'm like, oh my God. And I'm listening to black people, and black people are like, look, it's about me and mine. And, you know, fuck all these other niggas. I'm doing what I got to do. And that's makes them happy to hear that. Come on out to the barbecue. We're going to celebrate the 4th of July. I'm coming right on, master. I'm going to come on down here and sniff your barbecue, boy. That smell good. I shows appreciate you, master. I shows appreciate it. I wish I would celebrate the 4th of July. Oh, you not American? Well, okay. When you start treating me like an American, when I see my reparations check hit the mailbox, then we can talk about me being American and what it means to me to be an American. Till then, not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to make you feel comfortable, Mr. White Man. Oh, well, we can go to church. Yes, we can go to church together and we can pray together, and then we can go right back to talking about, oh, you want to help me? You want to be a part of what I'm talking? You want the realness of this black experience? Then I'm going to need you to denounce some things. Until I get everything I want, I need you to stop celebrating the 4th of July. See how your friends respond to you. See, they'll talk all that liberation, I love you shit. But when it's called on to speak up and really do something, most of them won't. We got Father Flager in Chicago, and I like Father Flavor, and he's doing some things. But the flip side of that is, why is a black man not able to stand up and do the same things that this white man is doing in the neighborhood? And the black man probably knows more inroads than Father Flager. He's got a financial resource that the black man may not have. So when you don't have resources, you can't do a whole lot. And again, when they say, well, what about, no, all this happened because America did what they did and made no reparations for it. So stop giving me all this. If you work hard, blah, blah. Yeah, I worked hard. And what I have now is probably way less than what I should have because I keep messing with these people. And that's realization we got to come to. Would I be further along if not for indulging with these people? Because again, they want to keep you behind the line. I was watching some show and they were talking about Obama. And I tell everybody all the time, while Obama was in the White House for these 8 years, worst time of my life. I got nothing but a whole bunch of evil white people doing what they want to do on a certain level to maintain what they got while screwing you out of what you got. And I know people like, well, you can't point a finger and blame. You can do what the hell you want. If it's true, it's not blame. If you go to court and they say, tell me what you saw, and you tell them what you saw, oh, well, you're blaming them. No, that's what I saw. I saw you run the man over. This is not blame. This is facts. But now we're in the world of alternative facts. I forgot. This man got on TV and said I could shoot somebody in the street and it wouldn't change. He knows his people. He appealed to those racist people. Oh yeah, I grabbed some pussy. They like it. I'm rich. I can do this. I can do whatever I want. And 53% of white women still voted for him. a pussy grabber. I wouldn't be shocked if some of them aren't some of the same ones that are in line in court trying to put Bill Cosby in jail. All your white friends that were like, well, I don't know, I'm just uncertain on who to vote for. You see an asshole and you're unsure who to vote for. You're looking for an excuse. And you let this asshole constantly say every day something about President Obama, who had to kiss ass and tap dance like Bojangle to get anything across. And if you didn't like it, you just said, no, we're not going to work on it. And you say the economy is terrible, but it was in the best condition it had been in 60 years. But your little underlying racists in America like to hear Donald Trump. We're going to make America great again. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Fuck everything. I don't give a damn about rules. I make my own rules. Fucking amazing. And they pushing it through. And you can't do shit about it. Doesn't affect it. Agents don't really give a damn. Okay, well, we got our own country. We got our own community. We're not investing with y'all. We gonna be okay. Jewish people, don't even get me started on Spicer saying that Hitler didn't use gas in the gas chambers. It's fucking totally ridiculous. Like I say, this guy can say whatever he wants, and it don't make a difference. But the Jews we don't really have to mess with y'all. I mean, y'all trying to help us out over here in Israel, which is a Jewish country. Y'all gave us money on the way out, Obama. Thank you for them millions. Thank you for what y'all doing over here. Y'all really helping us out here on the Jewish side of things. The Hispanics, like, you know, they always saving money, sending it back home, helping their other families members to get here. Collectively, they do politics. Shit, I voted for Chewy my damn self in the last mayoral election. I wasn't about to vote for no damn Rahm Emanuel. For what? And you knew he was on crap, and even not just Laquan McDonald stuff. This was happening at the same time before he was running. But this is the dirt, and then people still want to justify dirt to you. And then you still want to eat dirt. Just because you got a few good white friends. I've had to call a couple of my white friends on it and let them see it. Because I understand that they were conditioned too. You were conditioned that this is normal. Slavery was normalized in this country for hundreds of years. The white man said it right there. He said it was the most awful form of slavery that ever existed. Families were not recognized during slavery. Why are we trying to make it seem like, oh, this my family, this my family? Yeah, that's your family, and we gonna sell that little nigga or this wench or this nigga anytime we feel like it. So we gonna destroy any type of thing that gives you pleasure, that you can stand up as a man and say, this my family. But how you a man and you a slave at the same time? We control you. We tell you what to do, how to do it, and you gonna do it, nigga. That's how it was in slavery. Slavery was no nice thing. There were no nice slave masters. I constantly say that. I don't know what part of these things people are missing. Don't give me that. Let's move on. That's in the past. Yeah, when you give me my check, then it'll be in the past. Don't tell me to move on until you pay me what you owe me. The man in the video talked about the Jim Crow. He talking about the one who got it the worst was the black man. Now, you can go out there and look at this Moynihan report from 1965. You can probably find the clip like I found the clip. Like I said, I spent a lot of time researching and looking at stuff. doesn't amaze me, most of the stuff I find. It intrigues me, and it validates my point of view. I don't really care about a lot of the politics of this country because most of it is geared toward keeping us down. And we can't deal with the politics until we get ourselves together. The unemployment of the black man. You can see it. I catch the Metro line every day to work. And there's at least 15 women to every one man, black. Black men aren't going to college as much. You're getting priced out of college anyway, and college only prepares you to come and work in this man's system. The same system that oppresses you makes you feel like you can't live without me. So come on home to your master. I impress on all young people. Yeah, go to school, get that education. Have an out plan. 7 years, save your money. Don't go spending money on bull crap, this, and this. Save your money for 7 years. Get you a business license. Whatever you're doing for those people, start doing it for yourself on the side, if that's your chosen profession. We got to start changing the thought process of our young people. After all, they're going to have to take care of us, right? And at the rate they're going, that ain't going to happen. That's why you got senior citizens working at Walmart at age 70 plus. I've seen people give everything to their kids, and when their kids get up on their feet, they give their parents back nothing. Something else that happens mainly in our culture. Asians look at it as a disgrace to not take care of your grandparents. It's a disgrace. Most cultures feel that way about the older people. We find it hard to take care of them because most of us can't take care of ourselves. That's how far behind the line we are. We keep reiterating this. We're going to do some more uplifting shows, but how can we be uplifted and having a great time if we got all these types of problems? And you think you got control, but you don't have control. You can't have control and continue to be with these people. The oppressor, I got a line in the poem I write that's called, They Want Me to Be a Nigger. I said, self-destruction taught by the destructional teacher. We on the field, but they in the bleachers. They taught us to hate ourselves, to destroy ourselves. And they gave you the tools to destroy yourself and destroy your people. Love, peace, soul. We out of here.
Why don't y'all take a look at that sign up there? See what it says? Cash for your home. You know what that is?
Billboard.
What are y'all, Amos and Andy? Are you stepping and he's fetching? I'm talking about the message, what it stands for. It's called gentrification. It's what happens when the property value of a certain area is brought down. Huh? You listening?
Yeah.
They bring the property value down. They can buy the land at a lower price. Then they move all the people out, raise the property value, and sell it at a profit. Now what we need to do is we need to keep everything in our neighborhood, everything, black. Black owned with black money. Just like the Jews, the Italians, the Mexicans, and the Koreans do.
Ain't nobody from outside bringing down the property value. It's these folk shooting each other and selling that crack rock and shit.
Well, how you think the crack rock gets into the country? We don't own any planes. We don't own no ships. But we are not the people who are flying and floating that shit in here. I know every time you turn on the TV, that's what you see. Black people selling the rock, pushing the rock, pushing the rock. Yeah, I know. But that wasn't a problem as long as it was here. Wasn't a problem until it was in Iowa, and it showed up on Wall Street where there are hardly any black people. Now, if you want to talk about guns, why is it that there's a gun shop on almost every corner in this community?
Why?
Tell you why. For the same reason that there's a liquor store on almost every corner in the black community. Why? They want us to kill ourselves. You go out to Beverly Hills, you don't see that shit. But they want us to kill ourselves. Yeah, the best way you can destroy a people, you take away their ability to reproduce themselves.
Yeah.
Who is it that's dying out here on these streets every night? Y'all.
Yeah.
Young brothers like yourselves.
What am I supposed to do? Fool roll up, try to smoke me? I'm gonna shoot the motherfucker if he don't kill me first.
You're doing exactly what they want you to do. You have to think, young brother, about your future. Huh?